Welcome back to the James Rule Crypto Show. My name is James Rule XRP. Follow me on Twitter at RuleXRP. Well, it was probably one of the hottest days today in Texas. At work, I sweated my butt off, and you know what? I've been reading some incredible information on Twitter. Everybody out there, crypto Twitter, the XRP army, the XRP community has been getting all this information out. I've been diving into the Hinman emails, but I'm not really going to go into them in specific. There is one article I want to show you. And there's other things I want to show you. But before we get into it, I'm not a financial advisor. I am a cryptocurrency teacher, and I like teaching the teachers. And we're going to have fun, and we're going to look at things. We're not going to look at the prices because everything's in red today. But if you want to keep your cryptocurrency safe on your own private wallet, check out the line of ELLIPAL wallets. Your keys, your crypto, they're air-gapped. It uses your own personal QR codes. You do have to write down your seed phrases whenever you set up these devices for your private wallets. Never share your seed phrases. Check out ELLIPAL. There's a link below. Tell them James Rule XRP sent you by. All right, Cowboy Crypto has been getting some amazing things out there on crypto Twitter at Cowboy Crypto 313. Check out what he found. Some labeled it draft, Hinman's speech, a draft, and others labeled it speech. But only Hinman made sure to label it the Ether speech. Look at this. Let me click on it. An email to Hinman. We go across. It's talking about drafts. It's talking about the speech. But look, William Hinman emails all these individuals, and he says, subject, the Ether speech. It was all pre-planned. William Hinman got paid, who knows, it was documented, $15 million through Ethereum. And, he enticed the market back in 2018 when he gave that speech and gave Ethereum a free pass. And I'll show you where the documents are located. You can go through them yourself. But check this out. Tyler Winklevoss, one of the Winklevoss twins. The Hinman emails show that the SEC itself is totally confused on how to regulate crypto. It is incredibly dishonest for Gary Gensler to claim that the rules are clear when the rule makers themselves don't even agree on them. But it is downright evil for the SEC to bring lawsuits and try to destroy crypto companies under false premise that the rules are clear, and they know they're not. And Warren Davison responded. He says, just one of the many compelling reasons to fire Gary Gensler. The old structure, Gary at the top, 4 commissioners. The new structure, 3 Republican, 3 Democrat, with an executive director. That's what Warren Davison, Tom Emmer, and others in Congress are trying to do. Let's keep going. If you missed it today, Crypto Law, John Deaton, had an amazing talk called the Hinman Docs with an all-star legal panel. They had special guest Carl Cecere, the counsel to Rosalind Layton, Jeremy Hogan, host of Legal Briefs, of course, the one and only John Deaton, and the former SEC enforcement attorney Mark Fagel. Check it out. I'll leave a link below. Now, this is where the Hinman speech documents were released yesterday. Crypto Law is ran by Mr. John Deaton himself. The Hinman speech documents, there's docket entries. There's docket entry 830, docket entry 831. I went through these briefly. There's a lot of pages to cover. But what I want to bring to your attention here is Exhibit 220. Now, an Exhibit 220 was filed on June the 13th, 2023. And if we go down here, it was sent to from Redacted, the Howey analysis of XRP. It's highly confidential, SEC, LIT emails. And it talks about the Howey test, and it places XRP and shows how XRP does not pass the Howey test. This first one here, XRP is not promoted as an investment of money. Ripple was founded in 2012 as OpenCoin, which later changed its name to Ripple Labs, a for-profit corporation with its own shareholders and securities that have been financed through several rounds of traditional venture capital funding. If we keep, and I'm not going to read this, I'll leave a copy so you can go through it because it's time consuming, but it just shows you that on April 8th of 2019, this email was sent to either an individual at the SEC, William Hinman, Jay Clayton, whoever it was. Number 2, an investment in XRP does not rely on a common enterprise. Number 3, XRP is designed to have consumptive use, not to generate profits. People building on top of the XRP ledger. I was previously paid in XRP. I spent XRP. Keep going. XRP owners do not rely on the entrepreneurial or managerial efforts of others. Exactly. I never received a contract from Ripple for purchasing XRP on exchanges or brokers, nor do I rely on Ripple for the success of the decentralized XRP ledger. XRP Army tweeted this out, and I had to retweet it. It says, in order to buy security, you need a contract. When I purchased XRP, I didn't receive any contracts. A security agreement is a document that provides the lender security interest in a specific asset or property that is pledged as collateral. XRP is not a security. And yes, I retweeted it. Now, I want to bring this up to your attention. I know the Hinman emails are a big deal. The crypto markets are down. But I tell you what, this company, Prometheum, is hypocritical that a week or two ago, Gary Gensler said, well, companies are coming in and registering with the SEC. Well, this is a joke here. This is an absolute joke, and Gary Gensler knows it. It says Prometheum provides a solution for digital asset securities investing, bringing together a blockchain-powered platform with the benefits of a securities-related marketplace. I tagged Warren Davison, Majority Whip Tom Emmer, John Deaton, Crypto Law. This is Prometheum.com. Prometheum provides a solution for digital asset securities investing. And if we scroll through, there's not much to the page. It says the new standard for digital asset securities, blah, blah, blah. There's not one token listed on their platform. Alexander Grieve got this out. It says, for those who didn't stick around to the end of the Financial Committee hearing yesterday, this exchange between Representative Mike Flood and Prometheum CEO Aaron Kaplan is an absolute must watch. I'm not going to show you the details, but you're going to listen to this. It's 4 minutes long, and you're going to see how hypocritical this company is and how Mike Flood gets it out there. Listen.
Thank you, Mr. Nickel. I now recognize myself for 5 minutes. I'd like to start by to read a question from a comment letter that Prometheum sent in response to the SEC's December 2020 Special Purpose Broker-Dealer Framework. Quote, the definition of a digital asset security as used in the proposal is a digital asset that meets the definition of a security under the federal securities laws. This definition puts a burden on the industry to determine which digital assets are securities. As a result, we believe the clarity is needed to understand the regulatory framework they must comply with, end quote. That was in a letter dated April 26 from Prometheum, specifically signed by Benjamin S. Kaplan, co-CEO of the company. I offer this into the record without objection. This concern, which Prometheum themselves raised in 2020, probably sounds familiar for those who track this committee closely. It is the exact same concern we've heard from witnesses in front of this committee before. How can a broker-dealer register if they don't know which assets are a security and which are not? Further, it makes the same argument that other firms have made, that the lack of clarity from the SEC puts an undue burden on the industry. Mr. Kaplan, in your testimony, you were very confident that no new legislation is needed in the digital asset space to clarify this question. What has changed between the date of this letter in 2021 and when your firm called for clarity and now? What has changed?
Over the 2+ years since that time, there's been additional enforcement actions and statement by the SECs which have clarified any questions that we had in regards to the designation of a digital asset as a security.
Mr. Kaplan, Prometheum's website says that Prometheum ATS supports, quote, many tokens that mostly trade on crypto exchanges, end quote. I'd like to dig in on that just a little bit. Can Prometheum customers trade in Ether? If your answer is yes, please explain how.
Not currently.
Can Prometheum customers trade in Bitcoin? If your answer is yes, please explain how.
No.
Just for the audience.
Now, this guy's a punk. This guy with Prometheum, he's been on CNBC. He's been interviewed the last few weeks, and he keeps saying, well, you just need to go into the SEC. They're doing the right thing. You need to go see Gary Gensler, blah, blah, blah. They don't even have Bitcoin or Ethereum listed. They have nothing listed on their site, on their page, on their platform. And guess what? Prometheum has raised $43 million. The majority of the money raised has come from Hong Kong and China. Let's keep going.
Audience at home's benefit, Ether and Bitcoin make up more than 60% of the digital asset market. Mr. Kaplan, given that either Ether and Bitcoin make up more than 60% of the digital asset market, if the current system is working, why can't your customers trade the most popular and widely used digital assets?
Regulation and new ATSs and custodians should take a crawl, walk, run approach, and essentially they will proceed to add additional assets and abilities as time goes on. I'd like to point out when the...
I'm going to reclaim my time. Mr. Kaplan, did Prometheum receive any additional exemptive relief from the SEC that has not been publicly shared?
No.
Thank you, Mr. Kaplan. Prometheum's special purpose broker-dealer license does not address the core issue. There is not a consistent definition of a digital asset security within current law. This point was made obvious when Chair Gensler could not say definitively whether Ether is a digital asset security when asked by Chairman McHenry in this very room a couple months ago. In other words, that same question that Prometheum themselves raised in their 2021 comment letter is still unanswered. That's why legislation is needed. That's the problem that the chairman's bill works to solve. To testify in front of our committee that your company's charter, which only allows for trading in a very small subset of assets, is evidence that no legislation is needed, just doesn't make sense.
Exactly. 100%, Mr. Flood. I'll tell you what, it's all pre-planned. Gary Gensler, Prometheum, all this other BS. It's just hypocrisy. And talking about Gary Gensler, there was an article that came out today on Fortune, and it states that Gary Gensler's crypto playbook stole the spotlight from Congress and shine on the SEC. The SEC chair has counter-programmed congressional hearings at least 6 times this year, 2023. Is it wrong or just part of the game? And look at this. I'm going to leave the link to the article below. Look at the visualization here. Okay, so January 12th, House Financial Committee announces the Subcommittee on Digital Assets, Financial Technology Inclusion. And the same day, Gary Gensler and the SEC sues Genesis and Gemini. Well, let's go into February. Senate Banking Committee, crypto crash while financial systems need safeguards are needed for digital assets. Well, the Wall Street Journal reports that the SEC has issued a Wells notice to stablecoin issuer Paxos. March 9th, Senate Agriculture Committee and House Financial Services hold major crypto hearings. Well, SEC Chair Gensler publishes an op-ed in The Hill. House Committee on Financial Services Agriculture hold hearings on April 27th. The SEC Chair tweets a cheesy-ass 4-minute office hours with Gary Gensler that describes crypto assets as investment contracts, says platforms must register. So what I'm getting at here is Gary is just doing everything he can to hurt this industry, to drive companies out of the United States, and even going as far back as Hinman and Jay Clayton and all of these individuals that are now working for major crypto companies that are backed by Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's just showing the hypocrisy of our government. And you have the Tom Emmers and the Warren Davidsons that are trying to make changes for us. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when we're going to get regulatory clarity on XRP, but I'll tell you what, with all this information we've seen and shared the past couple of days, surely Judge Torres is scratching her head, because the decisions that Judge Torres makes, Annalisa Torres, the Honorable Annalisa Torres, the decisions she makes is going to be a massive decision for the rest of blockchain around the world, the rest of crypto assets around the world, because we've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and the SEC keeps making excuses. The SEC keeps making excuses. They can't determine what's a security and what's not a security, and it's hypocritical. It's sad. It's damaged in investors. It's held back this technology in the United States. It's deterred developers. It's deterred many people that want to build on these wonderful blockchains. But if we don't have clarity, how's that going to be done, Gary? How's that going to be done? Well, anyway, I'm glad I was able to vent a little bit and show you some things that I felt that were important for you to see today. My name is James Rule XRP. This is the James Rule Crypto Show. 2 days left until the weekend. Hopefully we get some good news here in the upcoming future. Hopefully Annalisa Torres makes the right decision. And hopefully we can get clarity on the currency, the non-security XRP, baby. All right, have a good one. And guess what? I told you so.